The world, because it's capitalism, is telling you happiness is that nice big diamond ring. It's the opposite. If you're not happy, come on, do something. What's the point? Why would you live out the rest of your life not quite happy? If you have the choice, don't work for someone, do it yourself. Be entrepreneurial, because otherwise you'll never quite have enough.
Welcome to the Next Level podcast with me, Gareth Collins, in Thailand, with a special guest, Dan About Thailand. Welcome, Dan. Thank you for coming.
It's good to come. It was a pleasure to be invited by you, actually. I followed your journey, and so when I saw you were working on this project, I'm here for you, you know.
Thank you, Dan. It really means a lot to me. I really feel your love and support. Thank you, mate. Thank you.
I love the journey. I can see it.
Yeah.
I get inspired by people that go out there and do something different with their life and just ignore everyone and stick with what their plan is. Most people don't realize the reality of we have one life and to never
Yes.
live by that.
Yeah.
And so when I see you dedicated to fitness and you're improving yourself,
Yes.
it's something that I take note.
Thank you, Dan. You've touched me straight from the drop. Thank you.
Yeah, cry. Don't cry. Don't cry.
So, tell me about your childhood, Dan.
We're going back that far, are we?
Straight back.
Ah, this is
Who
interesting.
is the younger version of Dan About Thailand? What's your actual second name?
My middle name, my surname's Cheeseman.
Cheeseman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm a quintessential family from the UK, from the southeast of England. I lived in the Medway towns, and when I say the Medway towns, people go, whoa, because it's got a bad reputation. I spent many years in a small village called High House, so had a really nice family upbringing, 2 brothers. And what helped shape me early on was my dad giving me the nudge, but also willing to let me have an opinion very early on. And it's something that I want to make sure my kids do. I remember I was 6 or 7 years old and I went to a Church of England primary school, which meant I had to go to the church next door. And I just couldn't get and there was religious studies. And I just couldn't get on with religion. And I remember 7 years old and I said to my dad, I don't want to go to church anymore. And he sat me down and asked why. And I gave him my reasons and he contacted the school and pulled me out. I didn't need to go to church anymore.
What was the reasons?
Because I couldn't believe in a Jesus or a God. And the Old Testament and New Testament, I even like raining frogs and I think the Old Testament now, even people that are religious go, yeah, but that was more about the message. And it just didn't feel right. And I didn't like the fact that I was being told things back then, which I didn't agree with. And still to this day, I'm not religious and have strong views. I'll tolerate people's opinions because you're allowed to have an opinion. But I think I think the damage that religion has done in the world, the older I get, the more I realize we give it too much of a breadth and too much respect. So I was always an active guy in terms of ideologies and making decisions, and my family supported me on that, which was probably put me in good stead for where I am now.
Yes. How was your father compared to your mother's touch on parenting?
They were both very similar.
Okay.
So a very loving family, supportive, not strict.
Yes.
Just reasonable. There wasn't one that carried the iron fist.
Beautiful to hear.
Yeah.
It's beautiful to hear. Lovely. So tell me, let's go forward a little bit into like your adolescence and like your secondary school years, college.
Okay, so I was always very competitive. I did a lot of sport. So athletics was my chosen sport. And I always tried to do the best I could in terms of education. I was the kind of guy, and this is going to sound like, what kind of individual am I? I would lay in bed in an evening at maybe 10 or 11 years old and read the map and learn countries and cities and regions. And so I'd always want to make myself a better person. And I say to my kids now, remember when you go to school, challenge the teachers because they're not always right. In fact, I pulled them out of one school because of the Filipino teachers were putting too much religion on them.
Yes.
So I moved them and put them into another school.
Credit to you.
And I keep telling them, you're learning for yourself. I know we have Google now and AI, and the world's going to be a different place. And perhaps we don't need any more knowledge, but it's all about just enriching yourself all the time. And I always think your brain's like a circuit board, and the more you learn, the more you fuse things together, and the more efficient it becomes, and the better your ability to make decisions, especially creativity.
Yes.
So sport was always important to me. I did triple jump, and I got to national level. And won. I trained with some big athletes like Linford Christie and Steve Cram.
Really?
But anyone back in the UK will go, I remember these guys. So they were like mentors for me.
Okay.
But then got an injury on my shin and had to stop. And in schooling, I just always tried my best. I remember there was an 11 plus, and in one of the exams I got 100%. And the school contacted my parents and called them in and went, no one's ever got 100%.
Wow.
And they tried to move me into a different school. And I remember thinking, I don't want to go to another school. So I remember sitting this exam and failing the exam on purpose because I wanted to stay in the school I was.
So they moved you to a higher caliber of school.
They wanted to move me to another school.
A higher caliber of school.
Yeah.
Got yeah. Oh, right. Interesting.
But I didn't want to go.
Ah.
So anyway, I've always been motivated, driven, and trying to do my best.
Yes. It's beautiful to hear that. Like, it seems like you've just risen and risen and risen and risen.
Yeah, but
it's not that many people.
Not easy.
No.
It's so easy for people to sit here and be interviewed, and you've probably interviewed people before, and they'll paint this picture that life's perfect. And I think that's why a lot of people have mental health issues, especially with social media. I'm not wishing to detour too much.
Yeah.
That we try and portray ourselves as our life is perfect. Look how good we are. Look at us on social media. My theory on social media is you only post on social media for your own gratification and ego, not because you want to show friends. Look at me on this holiday. Look at me on the beach with my abs out. Look at me. Show off, show off. Yeah. I hate it.
I understand totally where you're coming from. But then there's a different breed of people that do a lot of complaining on social media and victimization.
Yeah, because there's lots of unhappy people out there.
Yes.
And it's a place where people feel safe to attack other people because it's behind a keyboard. I think we're in a very interesting era now where technology is growing at such a fast rate. And as humans, we haven't learned how to be in control of this technology. So we're addicted to our phones. We're glued to our social media. We worry about how many likes we get. We're concerned about how people view us. And the biggest thing I fight for all the time, even though Dan About Thailand is on social media, that's just an unfortunate coincidence, is I try not to give a shit about what anyone else thinks. Yes. And the moment you do that, and the moment you also tell yourself, no one's life is perfect, then I think you could just become a little bit more relaxed and content with how your life is going.
Yes. So that's what I feel. I speak to a few people that have that issue, an obstacle that they struggle to get over is just to post. They're just to post like what they've got going on. So they have set goals, but they're just really hesitant in shooting for them. And like as you just said, that they care too much about what people think. Obviously, you have to care some, but yeah, it just stops them from living their life.
Yeah, but the world's pretty screwed up anyway, and the way we structure everything in this world, I'm not happy with. I'm not happy with the political systems, what's happening in Europe.
Yeah,
the pressures and the mental health I think will get worse until we get smarter and can cope with things. But I admire people that keep off social media. And I've got a couple of people and they just never got onto it. And I think your life must be in so much more control.
Yeah.
You don't care what other people are doing.
Yeah.
So when you look at social media and you see people presenting this perfect life, how do you think it's going to make you feel? Why do you therefore use it? I see my wife sitting there looking at Instagram. She's Russian, so she looks at, and the Russians are like arguably some of the worst when it comes to these perfect stereotypes. The women have got their lips pumped, so they got these big lips. They all like to have blonde hair. The men is the patriarchal leader. That they're so stereotyped. And when I see her flicking through and seeing these women that are showing the perfect pictures, I go, you need to get off that because I know people are impressionable and so you somehow feel inadequate. She puts some makeup on and a nice dress. She can look the same, but she doesn't see it. So I think we're in a very difficult stage.
What sort of advice would you give people that do struggle to like put themselves out there on social media and have that self-doubt?
I think don't worry, don't overthink. If you're not posted on social media because you don't want to do it, don't do it.
Yeah.
But don't put any pressure on. It's up to you.
Yes.
Like, stop worrying about what other people think.
Yeah.
And although we need to be worldly and understand what's going on around us, I think life can be much happier and content if we were blinkered and just looked at what we were doing. Otherwise, you're never happy. I look at my journey and what I've got going for me and the assets I've built and the wealth. I'm no happier because I'm always looking at someone else that's got more.
Yeah.
It's nonsense.
Yeah.
I was probably at my happiest in terms of when I first come to Thailand I had a bit of money in the bank, done nothing. And I remember when I first started my first business here and I was paying myself about 60,000 baht a month, which might sound right to some people.
Yeah.
That's right. I was perfect.
Yeah.
There's enough money for beer. But I've evolved and changed and had a family. But you never quite have enough because society likes it that way. It's why businesses have a control over people. If you have the choice, don't work for someone. Do it yourself. Be entrepreneurial. The more you can release the shackles on society from your need to be connected with it, the more free you are and the happier you are. Because otherwise, you'll never quite have enough.
Yeah. So what I look at is like most of the world value the material, what's going outside, rather than what's going inside.
Yeah.
They're looking for the validation and happiness in outside.
Yeah, because they don't know how to find happiness. And the world, because it's capitalism, is telling you happiness is that nice big diamond ring. It's that big BMW. It's that big house. It's the opposite. Because that's what keeps you like tight. You have to earn more money. You get yourself in debt. You do this. It's all these commercial products that actually make you unhappier. And any euphoria or happiness you get from driving that big car will only last for the first few months. And then you're looking at something else. So I would say to be happy, reverse that. Just like push away the need for material possessions. It's all about perception. It's all about your mind and it's all about inside.
Yes.
But we think, no, happiness comes from everything around. It doesn't. It comes from like how you wake up in the morning and your outlook on life.
Exactly.
And these are things that I'm still learning, you know. I'm 50 years old this year.
Yes.
And I've probably made more learnings over the last few years than I have in the last couple of decades. I kind of went through the teenage discovery and, you know, you're academic. And then the early 20s, you're learning. And then I get caught up working these big jobs in London. Don't have time to think. That's how life wants it. If you don't have time to think, you don't have time to challenge the system or anything.
That
society functions.
Yeah, that rat wheel.
Structure in society is only in place to make sure it works. It's not for the individual. Politicians don't care.
So going back to your childhood, was there any voices or like weak spots that you look back at that slowed you down from becoming the person that you are today?
It's interesting because I always not had a plan, but I always had an idea of what I wanted to do. So what was my vices? Maybe in my late teenage years, I was going out and partying too much, mixing with the wrong crowd.
Yeah.
You know, maybe doing things I shouldn't be doing.
Yes. Say no more.
And yeah, and I was able to get through that.
Yes, I see.
But I had to recognize it. I remember one morning waking up and just thinking, oh, wow, this isn't right. And it was impacting on everything. I had a really good job at Coke. I was on such a fast track. And then it kind of fell away because of like just social things I was up to. Yeah.
Yeah. So I sensed like a great level of direction in yourself. How long did you like sort of like go off that path? How long did it take you to get back on it, sort of thing?
Couple of years.
Yeah.
But you know, I could probably justify it. My dad died when I was about 21.
Oh, okay.
And so then I kind of went, well, this isn't good. It's never great to lose a parent at a young age.
Yeah.
And then I had to bring myself back. because you can lose direction, because my dad was the one that gave me the most direction and made me
Mm.
who I was,
Mm.
got me out of bed because I hadn't applied for the Coca-Cola job. It was like a degree program and it was on the final day. And he went, "Are you going to do this?" And I went, "Oh, maybe I will." Anyway, he said, "Come on," like in a nice way,
Yeah,
gave
yeah,
me
yeah,
that
yeah,
nudge.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And without that nudge, I wouldn't have gone on that degree program and work program with Coca-Cola.
Mm.
So because of his soft nudging ability to listen, he was like a mate. I fell off track,
Mm.
but pulled back again.
How did you? I know you mentioned that like you woke up that one day and you said, right, I need to get back on track. But was there any exercises you could share with me and the world that you strongly incorporated from that wake up date, that wake up time?
No, just once you make a decision,
Mm.
once you realize, then you realize your life's not on the right path. You just have to be disciplined. I remember I used to smoke when I used to go out drinking. And I thought, right, I need to stop this. And I said to my wife, it was my wife now, I said, let's just quit. And I remember I had a packet of cigarettes and we got on a plane to go to Australia and I put my cigarettes in the bin and that was the last time I smoked. She wasn't able to do the same.
Yes. How long did she do any of it, or was she just
Yeah, a
not?
little bit, but just fell off track again.
Mm.
Go out for a beer. She wants a cigarette.
Mm.
So if you need to remember it's your life.
Mm.
Be in control, however hard things are. My next step now is give up alcohol.
Mm.
So, in touch wood, it's been a few weeks, but it's been easy.
Yes. Oh, nice. Okay, so going to traveling with your family, you do a lot of traveling with your family. Tell us about what's it like traveling, doing so much traveling with your family in Thailand.
It was great.
Yes.
It's a loaded question. I look back at my peers in the UK, and and you got to try not to be condescending here, but I feel upset for them because they don't realize. And once you move to another country, it opens your eyes as well. You're not so into the system. And one of my mates, I said, "Why, you've done your job for 35 years. Have you not thought about like I just got bored thinking about it, like the routine and the structure and not changing his life."
Yeah, it's painful.
And he
It's
went,
painful.
Yeah. He said, "Next year I'll get a watch." I went, "Oh, come on. You're not changing your life because of a watch. That watch better cost a couple of $1 million. But this is what and they all think the same."
Yes, it's that comfort zone, isn't it?
Yeah, and I hate it. You get one shot at life, and I often think I should be doing more. And I've come to the conclusion that some of the best things, you never regret spending money on a holiday. I never hear anyone say, "Oh, we should never spent that money to go to Australia." No way.
Yes.
Because I think it's one of the pleasures of this world.
That's what you do take to the grave.
You just get to see different things, and you can't. It's a catch-22. You need some routine and structure in your life. I realize that.
Yes, you need something to
Humans
work
like
for.
it.
Work for.
But
You need something to work
humans
for.
like. And I remember watching this Brian Johnson, the guy that said "Don't die," and
Yes.
I like what he's doing. And he realized that the human body needs that routine. So, for example, he needs to sleep at 9 o'clock. If he sleeps on the next day at 10 o'clock, the body's gonna say, "Well, I'm not used to this." So you need to go with what you're like, the innate, what your body's telling you, but don't over structure it.
Have some sort of fluidity.
Going to the gym, going to the sauna, eating well, eating at a sensible time, getting right sleep.
Yeah.
These are all things that are going to give you a longer life and keep your brain healthy and your body healthy and things. But to travel, and we're blessed in Thailand, it's cheap to travel. So any excuse and any time I can get, then we'll go somewhere exploring.
Yeah. What would you say to families that like they would love to be in your shoes, to like pack up and leave England and yeah, just go on an adventure? Are you with me? What would you say to those people, and how do you how do you make it happen?
You know what? Sometimes I get shot down online because my message isn't to say it's as simple as you're not happy, leave. But if you're not happy with your life, and I know that I get so many messages from people, and I've noticed the trend is an upward curve, not just because my reach is growing, but because of what's going in the UK, for example, of guys that are saying, "I want to move my family out of the UK. I've got a couple of kids. I've got some passive income." So hopefully what's happening in the UK will wake people up to the world is falling apart around from them. You know, you pay your taxes and this, and then they're bringing in all these immigrants and putting them in homes, and tourism is falling. You can't go to certain areas of the UK because the hotels are full of immigrants. So the tourist industry is getting affected. There's a lack of jobs, inflation. It's a real mess. But one thing's clear: if you're not happy, you have to do something about it. And the world's not going to give it to you on a plate. You've got tools like ChatGPT and Google. Go on there and search and find things.
Yeah.
Find out the gaps. What do I need to do to leave? Maybe it's not Thailand, but I can only talk about Thailand because that's where my personal experience is. But people are too lazy. Oh, I want to, but you can't because, and they give me an excuse. I've got a mortgage. I've got family. I've got this. Convenient for them to have this because then it justifies not taking an action.
The reason not to do something, instead of focusing on the reason and the reward, what you can get from it.
And the fear,
so, self-doubt.
I don't want to say shame on you because you're only a sum total of what the world's made you. But at the same time, I do want to say shame on you.
Yeah, well, it's their responsibility.
Especially if you've got family and that. What would you want your kids' decisions to be? You spend all them years bringing them up for them to say, I'm not happy, but I'm not going to change things. What would your advice be to kids? You'd say, come on, do something with your life. I love you. I want you to get the very best.
Yes.
So I'm saying to the parents, and sometimes my wife says we need to make sure we have enough money for our kids when we die and stuff like that. And I go, well, stop writing my life off. I need to make sure I'm all right. No one's going to look after me. And they'll be all right.
That's what I'm saying. I feel you should have that much confidence in them that the skills that you've passed on to them, they can take care of themselves.
Yeah, but never people discount their life. And I look back in the UK, I'm 50 years old now, and I see other 50 years old, and it's like they want to be out to graves already. They're quite happy sitting and doing nothing. And
like they've gave up already.
Well, they just, I don't, my back hurts. It's because you're sitting indoors doing nothing. Go to the gym, go and do some yoga, do some stretching. I bet you sit indoors every night and watch TV and snack. That's why your back's hurting.
Yep.
But they'll use the excuse. So I think I've circumnavigated. Don't be afraid. If you're not happy, come on, do something. What's the point? Why would you live out the rest of your life not quite happy? And if it all goes wrong, what's the worst that can happen? That you can work out what level of risk you think is acceptable. Maybe you keep your property and you rent it out in the UK. You work out levels, and depending on where you are and how fortunate you are, then there's different levels of risk that's acceptable to you.
Yeah. What really gets me is that there's no plan. There's no plan. It's like, right, I'm in this job and I would like to do so and so. I would like to live my dreams. That'd be great. But there's no plan. There's no direction, or there's no steps that they're actually putting in place to better themselves. It's like they're just stuck, paralyzed.
Yeah, and society doesn't really want them to make decisions anyway. It's quite happy. I always think that when you strip it all down, you're just a cog in that system, and you need people to conform and do the roles.
Yes.
Someone needs to sweep the streets.
Yeah.
Someone needs to serve the school dinner. Someone needs to teach. Otherwise the system doesn't work.
Yes.
And my feeling is this, fine. Doesn't mean I want to play by that rule just for your system to work.
No,
I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that I'm living my best life.
Yeah.
And my family's living my best life.
And that's what we're here to help you do the same as well.
Yeah. Society will not push you to make a radical decision or change something that rocks the apple cart, because if everyone does it, society starts to fall apart. I'm thinking, and I could be wrong here, let society fall apart and let's reinvent it, because I'm really disillusioned with the world and the political system and the structures. And we're like, look at animals living their life. I'm not saying, there's benefits to humans. You get the health service and all of that, but we have to pay to live our life. I just think there's a big shift, there's a big reform that's needed in this world. And that's why I almost want people to rise up and take control of their life and don't worry about anything else. Just be a bit selfish.
Go for it.
Be a bit selfish. People say don't be selfish. I think be selfish because it's your life.
How did you end up leaving England? How old was you when you left England? And why exactly did you leave?
Okay, good question as well. Because I left at 29.
Okay.
And there was another catalyst in my life. My mum died when I was 29.
Oh, okay.
29, lost both parents.
Pain. That pain hit you.
Yeah, I always remember moments, and one of my bosses rang me up, and it must have stuck because I use this a lot as reference. And he said, and I really respect his call. I'm 29 years old. I'm really unhappy. I'm really sad. I've lost both my parents. He rang me and said, "You might be feeling pain now, Dan. I understand that, but this is going to make you a stronger person."
Yes.
It sticks with me, that.
Yes.
Because it did make me a stronger person. And at some point in my life, I think I resented some of my friends because they would always consult with their parents for decisions. And I wasn't able to consult with anyone.
Mm.
And I found that my brothers were coming to me for advice. All of a sudden, there's this big burden on my shoulder. But actually, that empowered me to make big decisions without the need for someone else to give me advice.
Mm.
So when that man said it will make you a stronger person, it did make me a stronger person.
Why? Because sometimes it doesn't make people a stronger person. They actually use it as like a weapon, and like they victimize themselves, and they go in themselves, and they can turn to escapism. Do you know what I mean? So like I'm trying to gauge like what's the difference between like you choosing that path and then another person going down a path of victimizing
Because
themselves.
you got to switch, haven't you? You can go one way or the other.
Yes.
It's your life. You're talking about yourself.
Yeah.
And I really don't like seeing weak people that go, "Oh, my life's so bad. I'm gonna choose the crap route." What? Why would you choose that route for yourself?
Mm.
I don't get it. It's too easy. I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna fall off the rails and I want everyone to pity me and look at why? It's you that's been impacted on this.
Yeah, but then they've got the bag of reasons why.
But it's easy to have the bag of reasons. I've just given you a bag of reasons for my life.
Yeah. That's the thing, innit? And they're grabbing on and holding on to that bag of reasons of doubt, fear, lack of effort, instead of holding on to the bag of reasons why I can do this and why I can do this, and the visualization of me actually getting the life I dreamed of. Instead of
it could be a number of things. Poor parenting, poor upbringing, people you're surrounded with. You know, I always think you are that sum total of your life experience.
Yeah.
I'm only me because of the life I've gone through.
Well, it's always your responsibility, isn't it? Because you, like I said, you could have gone a different way. And as another person in the world that's had all the great upbringing like you have, but they've gone a different way. And as you said, it's that switch of that split-second decision-making of, right, I'm going to stop smoking. I'm going to stop doing the things that don't support my future self.
It's just a bad life decision, and then an inability to pull yourself out of that when because we can all get it wrong, can't we? We all make bad decisions all the time. We're human, but it's just knowing when maybe that path needs to be recorrected and where is this going?
And there's always a way to get out, rise up, and you've always got a chance to rise up and make that change.
Yeah, and there is help out there. Sometimes I even think to myself, it would be very nice if I had not like a counsellor, but there's someone I could bounce ideas off all the time, just to make sure I'm on track.
Yeah, I can help you out with that.
And I'm always. I said to you the other day, I said I really want to get into meditating.
Yes. That's what we do on this podcast a little later.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, and I went and sat, and over Christmas I went and sat on the beach in Pratamnak, and it was full of like lots of tourists and stuff. And I went, let's see how this works. And I thought to myself, what's the difference between meditating and sleeping? You know, when you're sitting there, and I realized that meditating was it's a chance to sit there in control of your thoughts, whereas relaxation is just
unconscious.
Let it go.
Yeah. So you're controlling your awareness. You're being present and aware.
Yeah, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I think I'd done 45 minutes. Looked,
really?
Whoa, where did that go? Because I really for me, I think one of the most important things in the world is to keep this brain happy. Keep yourself happy. Keep your body fit.
Yeah, take control.
I don't know. Sometimes you wake up in a bad mood. You can't pinpoint it. And I'm going, how do I correct that? What was it? And sometimes you can't. But then it's being aware of your situation and accepting it rather than that's where it can all go wrong, you see. So
Yeah.
it's being in control of the brain.
Yeah, and again, like a few books that I've recently read, Eckhart Tolle, A New Earth, and The Secret, regarding like awareness and triggers. So like and pain bodies. So like say if we've all got some sort of like pain body or ego that someone says something to us and that gremlin, that pain body ego rises up and you want to attack sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Or you get defensive, you know? Now the difference is being aware of it and noticing that, right, that's just triggered me. That's a pain body, welcoming it in, not jumping and
Yeah.
pouring fire and bouncing back on that pain body.
It's all about being in control. You know what? One of the subjects I liked at school, and I still love it now, is sociology. The
Yes.
study of life, and
Yes.
there was always are you a phenomenologist or a positivist? Positivist
Okay.
is Marxist. Marxists and positivists would say society's in control.
Yeah.
And you ultimate phenomenologists would say no, the people are in control and they're the ones that shape society. And I'd always go, oh, they both have good reason actually. And then I've concluded now, based on what you said there, some people are in control of life, those that are aware, that think. So when they feel that ego, they go, whoa, stop, in control. Those that just let it go are those that are not in control.
Yes.
That's where Marxism and that.
And that's
society is shaped.
Society's grabbed them.
Because you're impulsive and you're reacting to
Yeah.
that. Society in control.
Yes.
Society in control. You're living back in the UK with a big mortgage, a big car because you're trying to keep up with the Joneses. Society is in control.
It's got your happiness on lock.
Phenomenology, you're deciding your own adventure, me. So therefore, both philosophies work. It depends on the individual. So that was, I could never quite answer it when I was young, but I've answered it now.
Beautiful.
They both exist.
Beautiful. Excellent. So while we're on the subject, what triggers do you have? What triggers sorry?
So what do you mean by triggers?
What sort of triggers? So like I'll give you like a long time ago when I first started my business, I had a bad review. So I had like 20 good reviews and that one bad review, and I couldn't sleep all night. I didn't know how to like deal with that review. I couldn't accept it. So that triggered me, that pain body. I wasn't aware, I couldn't control it. So I had to get my cousin to reply from the review. But after I start researching and like looking into it, that review was a good thing because it helped me correct the mistake.
Yeah. So
now I welcomed all the bad reviews and turned them into a good review. Please come back. I'm sorry. How can we correct what happened? Yeah. You with me?
Yeah, because I think I remember reading, you probably only learn from your mistakes. Actually, that's true. You would only learn from your mistakes because then you're trying to correct and adjust. Whereas learning from your successes, it's happened. Maybe you don't spend the time going, why did it happen?
There's no pain. Yeah,
there's nothing to adjust.
There's no pain.
Or learn from.
But then some people like that would reply to a bad review in a negative manner and defend themselves. They've not looked at that pain body. They've not looked at what they can learn from it. You with me?
I'm just applying my new positivism, society in control, or impulsive.
Yeah.
Stop, think. I see it with some of my staff.
Okay.
Some of the reviews, I go, you haven't looked at the bigger picture.
Oh.
That wasn't right, your reply.
Yes. Snappy.
Yeah. And so this is where you realize people are at different stages and different positions.
Yes. And that's because you're aware of it. Their awareness isn't on a level to just try and look at the lesson that they can
instinctive like an animal,
harness it for the sake of good. Show your care, show how much you care for the business because you've just made a mistake. We want to correct it.
Yeah, never stopped and thought about it. And actually, when you think of these triggers and when things happen in life, the one thing I've learned is you take a deep breath.
Yes.
I think the weak man is the man that opens his mouth right away. Instinctive, gets it wrong, stop, think.
Yes.
The more time you can put in between whatever's come to hurt you and making a decision, the better. sleep on it.
Totally. Teaching while we're at it. So like from Eckhart Tolle, I think it is. So when you get triggered, it's like, say, a punch. Don't know if you said it exactly like it's my interpretation. So it's like you getting punched sort of thing, and then it's up to you how long you put in between that time of the trigger, the lighter and the more of a bird's eye view you can look at that trigger and act responsibly rather than,
Yeah.
you with me? So another trigger like that I've worked on quite a lot over these couple of years. I used to work with my mum when I used to run the Caribbean food business for like 5 years, for 4 years, not 4 years. And yeah, it was just a struggle. And it wasn't until the business went down and I started doing more inside work and looking and being aware of when like my mum might say something and it triggers me sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and I can't remember where it's from, but they say that like if you to test your character, live with your mum for a couple of weeks, you know, because your true self comes out. But yeah, inside work.
It's a good one. That what is your true self? I always try and get to the bottom of who am I? What is me? Because sometimes I think I've been so classically trained in business, you know, like I talk about that. I think some of my behaviors and my answers, they're all trained.
Okay.
Everything, all the years of training. I remember when I was at the post office and I had to do a lot of public speaking, and they got someone in, and it was someone that trained politicians. And you was always told when you moved your hands that you put your thumb up a little bit like this. And I watched politicians go, I do it. And I said, why do you do that? Because you're triggering to them this. That what you're saying is, so you're taught all these little things. When you're disciplining someone or you're doing something, you touch their shoulder or you give them a pat on the back afterwards. So there's that connection. And I know instinctively now, this is like how I act. So I often think, who am I? Is the real Dan someone that just wants to sit on Koh Phangan in his swimming shorts and just meditate and just wake up happy? Or is it someone that wants to get up and do crazy ideas and launch new businesses? And this is the conundrum that I'm still trying to work out.
Or is it a bit both?
Yeah, or is it the pressures of work, pressures of the world? I still need to look after my kids, and it's not cheap to live in Thailand if you want to live properly.
So what I give my clients, I ask and myself, write down a perfect / ideal day in your life. How much time do you want to put to work? How much time do you want to put to self-development? How much time do you want to put to relationships? How much time do you want to waste? Are you happy with wasting 3-4 hours of your day? You know, I'm not. I'm happy with hour, maybe 2 hours. You with me? And soon as you get this structure in place, you have a lot more idea of like where your time is going and what you really want to be doing with your time.
Yeah, I agree. But I'm aware of how I use my time. And when people say, people shouldn't sit in front of Netflix, they should read. They shouldn't do. And I go, because you come, like I said earlier, what I said to my kids, don't just accept everything you're being told, because the latest book you read doesn't mean you go, oh, now I'm going to move to that. I often read and I go, I do not agree with any of this.
Yes.
Or I agree with parts of this. Oh, that's interesting. And piece that together there.
Totally.
So I know roughly my structure, and everything is calculated. And sometimes I think, a trip to the gym is calculated. It's about me like ticking the box for fitness and making sure that I'm working out enough. And so I need to go at least 4 or 5 times a week. Otherwise I'm annoyed. I need to go to the sauna. Because why? Well, because the sauna helps me sweat and there's health benefits.
And you feel great after coming out.
You feel better.
Yes.
But what I mean is it's calculated.
Yes.
And in the evening, I watch Netflix. Why? Because it'll be with my wife and my kids and we're all chilled out. And it's a chance for me to unwind. I don't necessarily want to pick that book up because there comes a point where I go, come on, just stop. The moment I get up, I'm doing something.
Yes.
So there's nothing wrong with watching Netflix now and again.
Totally. You need some time to lay back, put your feet up and take everything in.
Because you need to recharge. If you don't recharge, you get burnt out.
I hear you.
So don't try and fit everything in.
Yeah.
I'd like to do more reading. I'd like to do more meditating. At the moment, I can't work out where that fits into my schedule, like daily schedule.
Yeah. I'm with you. So while we're on the subject, how does a perfect day look like for Dan?
Up early,
What time early?
6 o'clock,
Okay.
6:30 maybe.
Alarm or no alarm?
No alarm.
No alarm.
A coffee straight away.
Okay, sorry, can I cut you? So what I recommend to my clients is the day starts the night before. So like I advise them to put pen to paper and plan the next day, and then also what time you're going to sleep. You with me? Sorry, Karen.
I would like to sleep earlier than I do. I'd like to be asleep by 9:30.
Okay.
And I'm about 10:30, but I would like the 9 because I'd like to get up earlier. I would just, my mum always said to me, every hour you sleep before, and it sticks, every hour you sleep before midnight is worth 2 after.
I have actually seen that in a book.
Yeah, and I
somewhere
go,
like that,
I reckon
yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
I just reckon it's right. If you went to bed at like 12 o'clock and you got up at 6 hours there, or you went at 9 and got.
And a lot of the time, the later into the evening, as you just mentioned, is the less productive time.
Yeah, and
So
the
like
trick is sometimes you feel like you deserve to be awake a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you think, when I go to sleep, that's final. And then my day starts again. But you need to tell yourself, no, you're going to sleep now because your day will be even better tomorrow if you can just put your head down an extra 30 minutes or an hour earlier. So my perfect day would be asleep by 9. And I would love to be up at 5:30, 5 in the morning before the world started.
Yeah.
You know, you feel like you've got borrowed time. You're sitting there and you're just chilling out.
Yeah. I feel like the person who I came here to be. When I wake up before the sun rises, yeah, that's Christmas to me.
It's better, but I don't do that.
Okay. How often do you?
No, I don't. It's like I say, it's the 6:30 sort of time frame.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm with you.
But everything's up and about by 8 o'clock. Kids are at school. I like to be at work and working at an early time. I like to be at my desk as early as I can.
So what I would, if you was my client, Dan, I would recommend you track that. If you want to push it to 5 o'clock, aim for 5 o'clock. Anytime you don't, 5:30, 6 o'clock, write it down. Monday, 6:15, so and so. Boom. That's what I would recommend.
Yeah. See, I know all the right things, but it's there's still that I'm still human.
Totally.
And I'm trying to paint this perfect scenario, but at the same time, I realize I try and structure too much. Like, come on, when do you stop being human? Like, I want to be up at 5. I want to do this then. I want to do that then.
Well, I would ask yourself, at the end of the day, how proud are you of yourself?
Yeah, I'm very happy with who I am.
There you go. There you go. Okay, so continue. So you're up.
So make sure the kids are getting ready for school.
Yeah.
So they're normally gone by at 8. Sometimes I'll drive them if I go to the office. I'm very fortunate with the job and roles that I do that there's a lot of flexibility. If I don't fancy the office, I don't go into the office. I can work from home. But I'm disciplined enough. I always want to go to bed excited about some of the jobs that I've got to do the next day.
Yes.
And before I go to sleep, if I know it's going to be a bad day, I don't want that. I want to go to bed chomping at the bit. And I know when you put your list of tasks to do, and I always do it.
Yeah, planning.
You're supposed to, I've been told, take the worst task first.
Yeah.
Because you always put it off.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I can't do.
Your brain's ready. It's more.
I can't. I got a big list today, and the 2 things that keep being pushed, and I keep getting pushed to the next day.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And the problem with lists is, on that list, every item looks like it's got the same weight. It hasn't. One of them could be chase up that guy that hasn't got back to you with that email. Or do that. Whoop, it comes off the list. You feel good. You've taken one off the list. But the other one is review all the maintenance statements for the 3 villages and get back to the CFO and flag, oh, that's the one that keeps getting pushed back. It's one item. Responding to it. Oh, that's good. I'm clearing stuff off. You're not. But I've learned, always get up and pick at least 1 or 2 of the really good tasks that excite you in the morning.
Okay.
Because then you're excited to sit down.
Yeah.
And then you get into the flow and get carried away, sort of thing.
I'm with you. Go for it.
And then so another thing I do when I work is I put a timer on my desk. And this has been a really cool thing because I really struggle to sit down for a concerted period of time. If I know it's an admin day all day, and you say you're sitting down at the desk for 8 hours, I can't do it. Just can't hold the focus.
Yeah.
Get distracted.
Yeah.
So I read this thing, and there's a little timer, and I put 20 minutes or even 30 minutes, and I click.
Yeah.
And I know in my head, okay, I'm going to do 20 minutes flat out here.
Yeah.
When that timer goes off, I go, right, I can get up and have a stretch. I can do that.
Yeah.
But it helps break my day down.
Yes.
And that's worked really well. And quite often the timer might run out. I go, I'm in the Vogue at the moment, bang, and I'll set the timer again so that it immediately starts. So that helps me be really efficient with my time.
Yeah, sounds like you got great time management.
Yeah, it's really, it's one of the things I struggle with, just holding attention for a long period of time.
Yeah. Okay, go for it. What time are we at now?
And then so I won't have any breakfast. So I'll eat for lunch because I love the intermittent fasting and trying to like take the pressure off. I'm aware I want to live as long as I can, you see.
Yeah.
So supplements, training, saunas, giving my body a relaxation.
Yeah.
And then I'll have a bit of lunch, and then I'll know I'll definitely work through till 3 or 4 o'clock. And about that time, I'm thinking about wrapping up my work.
Yes.
Because you can.
Yeah.
You're working hard.
Totally.
And then I'll go, right, I need to go to the gym. I need to go to the sauna.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, okay, what time do I want to finish? And then when am I going to chill out with the kids and wife?
And
that's about it. And then every now and again in my calendar, so that it's not too structured every week, I'll see times with my work. So tomorrow I go to Koh Chang. So I'm up at the morning, and my family are coming this time. Really great.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'll go to Koh Chang for work.
Beautiful place.
I'll do a few days there.
Yes.
And so every month I might do two trips to Koh Chang. So that's breaking up the routine. And then I'll go, and then something else might happen. So I've got some events coming up in March. Which means I'll move from Pattaya, Bangkok, Hua Hin, Koh Phangan.
Tell us about the event.
Okay, so I like making things possible that perhaps people in the past said were not possible. And I realized once you get that target, I just loved it. And maybe 6 years ago, I bought a British boxer over Frank Bruno, and just because I had a media business, I went, oh, that makes sense.
Yes.
I've got the reach. And I really like the idea of doing something so that it's fun for people. And so Frank Bruno come, and we've done a series of shows.
Okay.
And it was cool. And I made a bit of money out of it as well. And I went, and I got a buzz out of
spending time with Frank.
Well, no, I just got a buzz. You turn up, and there's 100 people that turn up at this event, and they have this buffet and this boxers travel from the UK. And this wouldn't have happened unless I dreamt it.
Beautiful.
And then the guy in the UK rung me and was giving me other names. I went, oh, boring. I said, what about Tyson Fury? And Tyson Fury at the time was still WBC boxing heavyweight champion.
Yes.
He went, you're crazy. Forget about it. He's active. I said, go and find the price. And he come back with the price. I know, maybe I can do. And it was in my head. Oh, I wonder if I could get Tyson Fury to Thailand.
Yeah.
And I couldn't let it go. And my wife, like, she hates it when I try these things because often I'm spending money and sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I got a price and I found some sponsorship. And all of a sudden it was possible. Tyson Fury was coming, but the stress for this was huge because he was due to fight, and he wouldn't sign a contract that said if he was due to fight, I had lots of sponsorship in place, and some of the sponsors were saying, we're flying people over from all over the world. You need to sign a personal liability that if Tyson Fury doesn't come, that you'll cover all these costs of the flights, which was something like 2 million baht. It was when I'm never signing that, I'll go bankrupt. And then it becomes so deep that I couldn't get out of the contract.
Okay.
And I lost 2 million sponsorship.
Okay.
Because of this. Anyway, it happened. I didn't lose money, but Tyson Fury come. Awesome. Like, you got like this heavyweight champion, awesome, turned up at the airport, and the stress and I remember, and I was really stressed because I had to use some of my kids' education money to up front.
Okay.
And I went, oh, this just feels bad. This feels like I've gone too far.
Yeah.
I remember, and normally my wife would be livid with me, but she just knew that I was like stressed. So she backed off. And at the end of the event, I made money. I made some money, not as much as I should have done for a big star like this, but I didn't lose. And I went up on the hotel roof and I sat there and I had a beer, and that beer tasted great. And I just felt like, yes, I've done it.
Yeah.
For all the stress.
That feeling, that is
this is
most beautiful feeling.
Yeah. And this is when you realize, because you're testing to yourself, you can do anything you want in this world. Anything, really, you can.
Yes.
Just know what you need to do and then work out how to get there. And yet, by the same token, I've got my mates that are sitting back home doing nothing with their life. And so now I've got I had Nigel Benn, another boxer, come over earlier in the year. Just really good fun again. You're traveling around Thailand and at one part you're in a Pattaya event. Next day you're up, you pack everything. You get to Hua Hin, you go to the hotel, you set everything up, straight into the next event.
Yes.
Next day you're up, you're down to Koh Phangan. You get there at 5 o'clock and you're straight into the event. Like it's just like, and my brother came with me on some of it, and he went, "That was amazing." So now he's coming back with his friend, and they're going to do the whole 4 tour.
Oh, really?
Because he realised, this is like what you've created. You're getting to travel across Thailand with, and I love boxers.
Okay.
So when people say bring footballers, not interested. I like football, but I'm not interested. I have a lot of, this is like for my personal. I was interested in these guys. I had a lot of respect for what they've done. And so you're hanging out with them, and I'm with Nigel Benn, and I'm driving him everywhere, and become really good friends. And we now talk on the phone, and Conor Benn, who's on TV, he's on my WhatsApp, and we chat sometime. And it's not that I'm holding them in higher regard. It's just saying you can open the doors and connect with, you can make anything possible.
Have to jump outside your comfort zone.
Just try it.
Totally. Who else is on your list to get here? Or who else would you
I keep telling myself every year that I'm going to stop doing it because it's like too much stress, and I should. And for the effort and against reward, maybe in the other jobs I'm doing, I could be doing better. But then I justify it in terms of it builds brand credibility for Dan About Thailand because there's lots of signage there.
Yeah,
it's very important that Dan About Thailand as an influencer channel is not just another influencer channel.
Authentic.
I told you earlier, I'm just about to launch Dan About Thailand beef burgers to put into restaurants, so there can be Dan About Thailand beef burger meals, which means I get point of sale Dan About on the desks and wholesale. I can monetize it. I can leverage the brand, and just that brand becomes so strong, and it just reconfirms to me you can do whatever you want. I think Dan About Thailand burgers like crazy.
Yeah.
Dan About Thailand bringing Tyson Fury over and doing an event that he shouldn't be doing. Like crazy. Yet still doing full-time work and other jobs. I've got money invested in tech. I've got a full-time job in property and that. And I do not, and my extra work does not come at the expense or compromising the effort I put into that. I just make the time for everything where other people might be lazy.
And one thing that you said previously, that you actually love and enjoy it, and that feeling that when you had that beer, that tasted like the greatest beer ever.
Yeah, but at the time I went never again because I've done that now. It's too stressful. And then what did I do? Then I went, okay, how can I better that? I can't beat Tyson Fury. Okay, well, I'll do 3 events on this next tour.
Okay.
And then I went, how can I beat that? Okay, I'll do 4 events. So over 5 days, running 4 events across Thailand. It's awesome.
And then, like you just says, oh, never again. But then you look back at it, you settle down, have a month off, and then you go, no, actually, let's go again. Yeah,
and this is the problem with life. You know what I just said to you? I can't work out what's the real Dan. Is it Dan on the beach that I want to do sometimes? Or is it Dan going crazy doing all these things? And that's why it's so important to be in control of your brain. And once your brain knows where it is and it's in a good space, you wake up and you're in a bad mood and you feel just bad for no reason. Of course, you don't want to be doing crazy ideas. Maybe that's when you want to sneak off onto a beach. And this is where people make bad life decisions. Oh, my parents have just died. What option are you going? You need to go, well, take a bit of time, take a break before you do it. Chill out, get your brain back, make some sensible decisions here. And I also, people say, well, it's all about balance. Yeah, I'm not buying that either. I don't buy balance. Tyson Fury would never have been world champion if he said it's all about balance. I'll have a little bit of beer here. I'll have a bit. You have to be all in.
Yes.
If you want
focus,
to really achieve.
You got to think of how much focus and energy you're putting into that goal. Where you're going.
There's so many stories. And because of my background sales, I realize you can influence and shape and push anyone in any direction you want, and the world will do it as well.
Yeah.
It's not about balance. I don't want to drink beer anymore. I want to give up, because I think having some beer in my life is more negative. I gave up smoking. What's balance? Oh, it's all right. I'll smoke sometimes.
Have a bit of everything. Yeah.
Okay, well, where are you going to end up in your life then?
Ask yourself, whatever you have, content, relationships, food, drink, how does it make you feel after you finish it? How has it left you? Has it raised your self-esteem, or has it made you feel depleted?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Ask yourself, and then correct that behavior and do your best to minimize it and get rid of it.
Yeah, but we all take the short-term prizes. Oh, I'm going to have a beer because, and I love a beer. Why? Well, because it's my birthday celebration. Oh, because I'm unhappy. Oh, because I'm tired. Because I'm this. Okay, basically any reason you love a beer. Yeah, I love it. You justify it. And I have this argument with my wife. because she would always justify it. I said, why do you never justify going to the gym? So I'll say, I'm going to go to the gym because I feel lousy. Because when I come out of the gym, I feel better. I'm going to go to the gym because I need to make my body fit. I'm going to go to the gym. We make all these excuses to do the things like, I'm going to fill my face with food. I hate the fact that why is celebration and meeting people all based around filling your faces with food and drink? When people come over from Thailand, let's go out for a meal and eat. Why can't we go rock climbing?
Yeah.
Why can't we go for a run? Why can't we? And so it annoys me how important drink and stuff in our faces is in the world.
It sounds like what society has like programmed you to choose.
Yeah, clever marketeers and clever this. And of course, it feels good filling your face in that moment.
Short-term gratification.
Yeah, and humans take the short-term gratification every time.
Most of them.
Yeah.
Nothing like not Goggins.
On a roll, look at the obesity levels in the West.
Yeah.
Out of control.
Yeah.
I can't remember the stats, but I was reading about kids just get fatter and fatter from the irresponsible parenting.
Yes, the
irresponsible governments, because the governments are only making decisions on who funds them the most anyway. You know, when you go into your school canteen, there shouldn't be chips, there shouldn't be soft drinks. It should all be healthy. You should be teaching. If the parents are irresponsible enough not to feed the kids right, maybe they haven't got enough money, then the schools have an obligation to feed them correctly and get rid of all that junk food so they don't get a taste for it.
Yes.
And this is where the world's just all screwed up.
Yep. Future plans. Yeah, hopefully. But we're talking about it now.
Yeah.
So it's different 10, 20, 30 years ago when no one talks about it and we're just drifting through it like it's no problem, eat what you want. But now people are talking about it. So raising the level of awareness.
Yeah, and I still don't know what I should be eating because everyone has a different belief. Vegetarianism, meat, dairy, this. And so you have to do your own research. And I've come to the conclusion that when the governments are saying be vegetarian, that's not because they think it's healthier. I think it's because they can't produce enough meat in the world and it's easier to produce vegetables. So let's steer people down that path. I also talk to pro-nutritionists that say we should be eating meat because it has all the nutrients. It's why our teeth are like this. And in fact, some vegetables we shouldn't be eating because they're poisonous.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, well, what do I eat? The only conclusion I've come to is eat as little as possible.
Like natural product.
Yeah, but don't overeat.
Yes.
Because we overeat for starters anyway. Yeah. And so when there's all these diets and everyone goes, this diet worked. No, the diet didn't work. It's what you didn't put in your mouth because of that diet. I'm doing this, I'm doing that one. So did you eat any crisps or chocolate? No. That's why you're feeling better.
Yes.
And so they put, you see what I mean? It's a bit screwed up. And I don't think you can trust many people in this world, including the people that are leading us.
So we haven't got that much time. Just a couple more questions before we get into a meditation. Okay, Dan. So what's it like? Because Pattaya has got like it's a party capital basically of Thailand. So like a lot of people that I spoke to, they may like have like doubts about like raising a family in Pattaya. Like, how is it raising a family in Pattaya for you?
Yeah, and people always challenge me on this. You're in the cesspit of Thailand. It's a prostitute centre. Blah blah blah. Naysayers.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. If I lived in Bradford or Hull or other parts of the UK, why are you not allowed to call them people out? You bring people up in Bradford where we've got all this issue here. You bring people up in Hull. It's a terrible area. And I like to, in my vlogs, call out these regions to instigate a response. Who wants to live in Western-super-Mare with drugs and prostitute? Don't call that out, do you? But for some reason, me living in a paradise location where prostitution is marginal, you have to go looking for it. My kids get an amazing life. They're outside all the time. Just amazing where we travel, the amount of things that they can do, the international schooling, being surrounded by multicultural views and opinions, as opposed to being stuck in one country with one line of thought being controlled by the mass media and the politicians in an area that probably still has prostitution and drugs. I had a friend over recently and he said to me, cocaine is out of control. He said, you go into any pub and you go to the back of any toilet, do this, and it's full of cocaine. Why are you not calling that out?
Programming, stereotypical, is it?
So when people say that, I just shake my head and say, you just don't know what you're talking about.
And also, like, it's a trigger for them, isn't it? Some sort of trigger that, yeah.
I just feel better to say that. And someone else said you should be raising your kids in Khao Yai. I said, it's not an expat area. I want some expat things around me.
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
gyms, saunas, Western restaurants. I want everything. I want to live in a tourist area. By default, a tourist area is because people want to come here. Wow, I live here. Whereas if you're back in the UK living in Medway where I did, it's not a tourist area. You're saving your money, what you can save if you're not taxed again, to travel to a location like Thailand. We're here.
Yes.
Happy days. Have I made the right decision? Yeah. Could there be better areas in Pattaya? Probably. It's serving a purpose. I think that the lifestyle balance is good and I'm able to earn a lot of money here. That's it. It's right for me.
I hear you, Dan. Lovely. So we're coming to the end. Let's do a meditation as always.
Do you do this on every show, do you?
Everyone so far. Every single one. So tell me how your meditation was previously that you done at the beach. How was that? How did you do that?
So I'm untrained. So I use ChatGPT to try and understand it a little bit more.
Okay.
So I just sat there in a quiet space. I crossed my legs. I know when I see people meditate on Koh Phangangs, I love that. They sit there with their palms up like this because there's apparently some reason to put your palms up. I didn't bother. I just closed my eyes and just let myself just like relax, take in the noise of the sea and just be consciously aware.
Yes.
That was it.
Yes. No rules. If you want to keep your eyes open, if you want to shut your eyes.
Yeah, and you know what? I found that once I was in that like space, I could open my eyes and just like maybe I'll just be transfixed on. Maybe there was someone sitting there. I'll just look at that for the moment. Then I just look at a wallet, or I just look at like
Yes.
Just didn't put too much pressure on things.
Raising like that level of aliveness, awareness, appreciation for your senses, appreciation for my hands, appreciation that I'm here live with you lot right here, right now.
Yeah, enjoying the moment.
Yes, being totally in the moment. Yeah.
For me, I always thought meditation was a way in which I could control my stress levels and relax.
Certainly.
And recharge.
Yes, it's massively helped me with like anxiety, my sleep, self-control, all of it. Because you got to think, it's like you train in your mind. So you got monkey mind and it keeps running everywhere. Negativity, this, oh, should have done this, or should have. So, chill out, little monkey. Come back here, please. Back here.
Yeah, it's like it's the equivalent to like you go to the gym for your muscles, you do the meditating for your brain.
Yes, indeed. Okay, let's do it. Okay,
you're gonna talk me through. What do you want me to do?
Just relax your body, relax your mind, and if there's any stiffness in your head, in your facial muscles, aim to turn them off from your head down to your toes. Focus on your breathing. Appreciate that we woke up today. Appreciate your surroundings. Appreciate all of your senses. Appreciate your vision. Appreciate your hearing, your touch, your breath. Appreciate it all. Give thanks and give love to all of it. Give thanks to your consciousness. Give thanks to your mind. And in 3 deep breaths, in through your nose and out through your mouth. On the third one, if it's good with you, close your eyes. If you want to watch me, go along with that. Give yourself credit for taking this time out of your day to focus on your self-development, your future self, your awareness, your appreciation for life. Feel your heart beating and appreciate that you're alive here right now. Give thanks and pour love into yourself. Visualize a shower above your head, and the liquid that's going to come out is full of love and appreciation for life. Go back into your past and visualize and feel all of the great moments you've had so far, all of the challenging moments that you've gone through, all the relationships that have made you the person that you are here today. Appreciate it all. Now, moving on to the present moment. Appreciate your health right here, right now. Appreciate your beating heart. Appreciate your consciousness and all of your working organs. And just for a few moments, fill the gaps and share with yourself all of the things that you appreciate. Now moving forward into the future, visualize all the potential you have going on. Visualize all of the new friends and relationships that you haven't yet made or connected with. Appreciate them all. Appreciate all the lessons that you are yet to have. Welcome them all. Appreciate your new heightened level of consciousness and awareness and appreciation for the life you're now living. Now moving on, be aware of your hands. Focus your energy on your hands. Now focus on your feet. Feel the energy in your feet. Coming to the end of the meditation shortly. Recap from the start of the meditation throughout to where we are now. And keep in mind anything that really resonated with you. And take that into your future. Again, give yourself credit for holding your concentration throughout the meditation. Give yourself credit for turning up here today, and whatever level of interest you have in self-development, whether it's that big, or that big, just appreciate it. And let's take 3 deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Really mean it. And appreciate every breath. Now to finish off with, bring your hands over to your eyes. And whenever you're ready, blink your eyes open to reveal the new and beautiful world we live in.
Nice and relaxed.
Beautiful.
Meditating with the cameras and lights on your face can be done.
Certainly. How was that for you, Dan? What really resonated with you?
What, the interview or the meditation?
The meditation.
No, it's something I want to develop. A few years ago, I would have laughed and said, I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
But the more I've looked into it, the more I realize it's as important as training your body to keep your brain, in check.
Yes.
If your brain's not functioning right and it's not in control, then nothing else is going to be all right. So I'm all in on it,
Beautiful. I look forward to doing it with you again, Dan.
Yeah, good.
At the beach, maybe next time.
Okay.
That'd be beautiful.
I'm up for it.
I get so much more from being in nature, and when I open my eyes and it's like I've been reborn. So
you hear more the birds and and the feeling of maybe a soft wind or the sun gently warming you up and that.
Yeah. So I strongly recommend meditating outside. Lovely, Dan. And then answer the question about what really resonated with you through the whole podcast.
Just interesting it's not often you get to talk about your life and the way you think.
Yes.
Some of the things that I said are the messages I try and get out on my Dan About Thailand. It might be called Dan About Thailand, but I've shaped it to be how I want it to be.
Yes.
And that is, I want people to do more with their life, or at least question and not be afraid of making a decision. Doesn't have to be coming to Thailand. Not because I want to be like this moral crusader, but I just think it's such a shame that you've got this big life out here and there's so many things you can do. And I still think I've got much more to achieve. And Thailand is just another chapter. And so if I'm still looking on to achieving more and guys haven't even got out of their home back in the UK, it's just not right. Shake it up. Don't be scared of it. Don't worry about society. Don't listen to governments and be in control.
Beautiful. What are some of the countries that you'd like to visit? What's the number one country that you haven't visited yet that you really want to go to?
I've done quite a lot of traveling,
Yeah.
I'm quite interested in taking a look at New Zealand.
Okay.
I haven't done any South American islands.
Okay.
Countries. So just cross it off. There's no burning. My wife wants to go to Nepal, and when you go and do the walk and go up.
Yes.
And I'll be up for that as well. I think that's probably something quite good for the personal energy and achievement.
Beautiful, Dan. I could continue talking to you, but yes, we're running out of time. It's been an absolute pleasure, Dan.
Yeah, good to talk.
God bless you, man. Thank you for coming.
See you.
It's been a really pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in. Much love.